Hello YouTube. This is Road to Recovery, and today we're going to discuss spirituality in relation to addiction recovery. This isn't about religion, although some may find their path through it. I'm not a religious person, and I have actually gone down my own spiritual path. You might be asking why, and I implore you to stick around and listen, because we're going to bring in some historical context and kind of fill out in your mind what spirituality really is. Spirituality and recovery share a common bond that goes well beyond the 12-step programs. Carl Jung, who founded analytical psychology, is attributed to bringing spirituality into the discussion of addiction. You might wonder how this came about. Jung was familiar with the effects of his own addiction behaviors. Early on, from his description with a visit for the distillery at the ages of 14, he describes the effect of being gloriously, triumphantly drunk. Jung's exposure to the problems of alcoholism commenced at the very start of his career. His first position as a resident medical assistant was at a psychiatric hospital in Zurich, where 13% of patients admitted were recorded as suffering from alcohol poisoning. Alcoholics were treated very much the same way as patients suffered from their other mental diseases. Jung understood the psychological function of drugs in a different way from other psychoanalytical writers at the time, not merely as changing moods, but actually changing what happens in the inner world. This means not simply masking psychic distress, but actually removing the cause of the distress for the time being. Alcoholism, he believed, involves a spiritual thirst for a sense of wholeness, the true secret of its power and the reason why a person can be led into an addiction. He understood intuitively that only a radical conversion to something equally satisfying to the individual at a deep level can promote recovery. Jung thought that the healthiest spiritual aim, that is, the one that most benefits the individual, is that of individuation, of trying to become more and more fully and truly who we essentially are. This becoming conscious of more and more of our unconscious motives, fears, and longings is a lifelong process that can be followed along many different paths, two of which are, Jung thought, analysis and religion. In 1928, he wrote, "Individuation means becoming an individual, and insofar individuality embraces our innermost, last, and incomparable uniqueness. It also implies becoming one's own self. We could therefore translate individuation as coming to selfhood or self-realization. We could also translate individuation as becoming undivided, becoming more and more of our own full self and having less of it projected or repressed or split off and denied. A belief in God, belonging in a religious community of whatever creed or faith, and following the required practices of that community are no guarantees that it's a life-enhancing path to pursue. The key is how the individual builds the self. The emphasis is on the tradition, on personal responsibility, on a direct experience of being with your deity or higher power. Breaking the cycle of addiction is only possible if the person has sufficient ego strength to sustain themselves, to comfort themselves if they break a rule, and not fear eternal punishment, to create their own psychic structures outside their religious community. As Jung stated, to some extent, we all follow the spiritual path of individuation, usually unconsciously, when it means no more than the acorn becomes an oak, the calf becomes a cow, and the child becomes an adult. But is conscious, chosen following of this path, which Jung sees as a true spiritual achievement. Spirituality allows you to become your own person, to develop your own traits, mannerisms, and moral structures. It is personal growth, a growth you undertake to become a better you. Thank you for listening. This is Road to Recovery. Please subscribe if you like this content. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the comments section. If you have anything that you would like me to talk about, please send me an email or go ahead and post the comment down below. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.